McKinsey & Company charges Fortune 500 CEOs $50,000 for a single leadership workshop. The core framework from that workshop, the one their consultants use to evaluate and transform how leaders operate, can be broken down in under 8 minutes. Here it is. McKinsey doesn't teach leadership as a personality trait. They teach it as an architecture, a specific structure of behaviors, decisions, and systems that any leader can build, regardless of their natural style. The framework is called influence architecture. It was distilled from McKinsey's own research into thousands of leadership interventions across industries, and it maps the 3 core levers that determine whether a leader creates followership or merely compliance. Lever 1. Clarity of context. Lever 2. Consistency of signal. Lever 3. Compression of feedback. Most leaders get one of these right. Elite leaders operationalize all 3 simultaneously. Here's how. The first lever is clarity of context, and it's the most misunderstood of the 3. Leaders assume their team understands the why behind every directive. Research consistently proves they don't. McKinsey's studies on organizational performance find that in the average enterprise, fewer than 20% of employees can accurately articulate why their team's current priorities exist. This isn't a communication failure. It's a framing failure. The leader understands the context because they built it. They forget that everyone else arrived at the destination without taking the journey. The fix is what McKinsey calls the context bridge, a 2-sentence framing tool deployed before any assignment or initiative. Here is the situation we are responding to. Here is why your specific work is the lever that changes it. Not a mission statement, not a vision deck. 2 sentences, situation plus leverage. When every person on your team can connect their daily tasks to a specific organizational problem, not a generic goal, a specific problem, discretionary effort increases by an average of 37%. That's not motivation, that's architecture. They know what to do. They don't know why it matters. The second lever is where most good leaders break down. Consistency of signal means that what you reinforce through attention, reaction, and resource allocation must match what you say you value. Here's the dysfunction. A leader announces that innovation is the priority. Then, in the next team meeting, they spend 40 minutes on a budget variance from last quarter and 3 minutes on a new product proposal. The team doesn't hear the announcement. They watch the meeting. McKinsey calls this the signal gap, the distance between stated priorities and demonstrated priorities. In their research, organizations with a high signal gap have 2.4 times higher voluntary attrition among high performers. The best people leave first. They have the most options, and they're the most sensitive to misalignment. Closing the signal gap requires a weekly audit of one question. Where did I spend my attention this week? Not your calendar. Your attention. The problems you personally jumped into. The work you praised. The conversations you initiated. That pattern is your actual leadership signal. Make sure it matches what you said on Monday morning. Your team watches your behavior, not your words. The third lever is the most operationally powerful and the least practiced. Compression of feedback means delivering corrective or developmental input as close to the triggering event as possible in the smallest effective dose. Most leaders save feedback for annual reviews, or they dump it in a single overwhelming conversation. Both approaches are psychologically counterproductive. The human brain connects behavioral cause and emotional response most powerfully within hours of an event, not weeks, not months. The McKinsey model for compressed feedback is the 60-second debrief. Within 24 hours of a relevant event, find 60 seconds with the person. 3 beats. 1 observation. What you saw. 1 impact. What effect it had. 1 question. What would you do differently? You are not evaluating them. You are triggering reflection while the event is still live in their memory. Leaders who practice this weekly, not quarterly, weekly, produce teams that self-correct 60% faster than teams receiving traditional performance review cycles. The performance improvement isn't coming from the feedback itself. It's coming from the compressed loop. The faster the loop, the faster the growth. Here is the influence architecture in full. Lever 1, clarity of context. Every directive gets a context bridge. 2 sentences. Situation plus leverage. Lever 2, consistency of signal. Audit your attention weekly. Where you spend attention is your leadership signal. Lever 3, compression of feedback. 60-second debriefs within 24 hours. Observation, impact, question. This is not leadership theory. This is the diagnostic model McKinsey applies to every senior leader engagement. It doesn't require charisma. It doesn't require authority. It requires structure, applied deliberately, week after week. The leaders who consistently build high-performing teams are not more talented than the ones who don't. They have better architecture. Now you have the blueprint. If you want to go deeper on any one of these 3 levers, the negotiation tactics that make lever 1 more powerful, or the room reading skills that amplify lever 2, those videos are already on this channel. Subscribe and start building.